Hey, what's up guys? Derek Peachy here from Glitch PCs, and today I'm going to be talking about my opinion on the PlayStation 5 compared to the Xbox Series X. So basically, well, if you haven't seen yet, which I'm sure you have, PlayStation or Sony just unveiled the brand new PlayStation 5 console. And just like a few days ago. And then it's going to go basically compete head to head with the Xbox Scarlet, which also just came out kind of closer to the beginning of this year. And so a lot of people have been kind of asking me what are kind of your thoughts on the design of both consoles. Personally, I think they both look really great. I think they both look very modern, very sleek. The PlayStation 5 definitely looks a little bit like a Wi-Fi router, and I mean, I'm sure you've heard that a lot, but it just does. And the white and black design really doesn't help that at all. I think it would be best if they came out with, I think what would be really cool is if they came out with a few different color options, like, first of all, an all-black one, so it's a little bit more console-like, could be a little more hidden away. And then, some other colors as well. So, I think that'd be really cool. And then, the Xbox Series X, a lot of people have been comparing it to a mini fridge. And, yeah, it could look like that, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I like that very square, rectangular, boxy design. I think it looks really, really good. And I don't know. It just looks very, very clean to me, and I think Xbox really nailed the design. Also, they really nailed their cooling system. So PlayStation went with more of a thin profile, and then Xbox went with more of a beefy, large square case. And I think that's gonna really, really help with cooling of the console. That's gonna and that brings us to the specs of both systems. They're both spec'd basically the exact same. They're both rocking AMD Zen 2 processors, 8 cores. So PlayStation's has theirs at 3.5 gigahertz, and it seems Xbox has overclocked theirs to 3.8. So that's going to run a little bit faster. And then Xbox obviously has a little bit of a beefier GPU. See 10.28 teraflops for Sony, and then Xbox has a 12 teraflop AMD RDNA 2 GPU, and then obviously PlayStation's is RDNA 2 as well. That's a little bit hard to say. And then Sony went with an 825 gigabyte SSD, whereas Xbox has let's see. Well, actually, they didn't say yet. Or wait, let me see here. I'm pretty sure it's a 1 terabyte M.2 or NVMe SSD. Yes, it's a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. So that's gonna run just a little bit faster, probably compared to Sony's SATA based SSD. And then they both have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. Those are extremely, extremely respectable specs for, a console. Like, that's crazy. But I think where Microsoft has the edge over Sony here is, first of all, they're overclocking their hardware a little bit, and the reason they can do that is because they put their hardware in a bigger chassis. It has that giant fan coming out of the top, and they can get way better cooling. I think it's going to run way cooler than the PS5. The PS5, again, it's Wi-Fi router design. It looks a little bit like or it's a little bit tight, I guess. And I'm sure cooling is going to be fine on that. I think Xbox just has the edge over it because they can get a little bit more performance out of their console. And then that brings us to the resolution and FPS. Sony says that their console can run 4K at 60 FPS, which is very, very respectable for a console. And theoretically, it could run 8K 120 FPS. I never read anything about it running 8K 120 FPS, so I'm not sure if that's true. I never saw anything about that. I've only been reading about 4K 60. So, and then again, the Xbox Series X is going to be can run 8K 120 FPS, and Microsoft released that. Like, they showed they can do that. And so I think, again, Xbox just has the edge over Sony here. 4K resolution has been around on consoles, well, since like the Xbox One S. My friend played 4K on there, and I mean, it works. And I mean, Sony has been running 4K on the PlayStation 4. There's nothing really special about 4K resolution anymore. Everything's 4K. You have 4K OLED TVs. I mean, this camera can go up to 4K. Everything is 4K now, basically, or it's getting to that point. I think it's starting to go to that point, and I think this is probably one of the biggest reasons. If you don't buy the Xbox for the 8K resolution, you're probably gonna buy it for the frame rate. I mean, 120 FPS on a console. I mean that's crazy. And then that brings us to the price range of both consoles. They're both priced at exactly $500, and that's what they're saying their launch price is going to be. So I think that is an insane bargain for either console, honestly. 4K 60 FPS, it's pretty good. But if you can get 8K resolution for 120 FPS at $500, that is insane. No PC can actually compete with that, and I think Xbox really did something right here. They're really, yeah, $500 can buy you maybe a 1080p 60 FPS gaming PC, but 8K at 120 FPS for $500. I mean, Microsoft is absolutely blowing all competition out of the water here. I mean, it's crazy. And I think the PlayStation is definitely going to have a little bit of a hard time competing. Now, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a console designer. I didn't unveil these, but I think Xbox definitely has an edge over the PlayStation 5 here. So, I mean, only time will tell, right? So, I can't wait to actually see when both these consoles release out into the public, and we can actually see kind of what happens with both of the separate consoles. It's going to be a very interesting competition between the two, and I'm definitely going to be making more videos about the competition between the two consoles. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that kind of clarifies my opinion on both consoles. Obviously, I like the Xbox Scarlet or Xbox Series X a little bit better. And I have always been kind of an Xbox fanboy. I've always thought, I don't know, their consoles are just better. I like their controllers better. I like their software better. But that's just my opinion. And I'm trying to be as unbiased here as possible. But it really just looks like the Xbox Series X is the better console to buy, especially for the same price of PlayStation 5. So, yes, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.